Picture a high school hallway alive with chatter. Then a yell rips it apart. Noah, just 15, freezes as Chad, the football star, holds his love letter high, sneering, "You little freak. You like boys, huh?" The crowd roars with cruel laughs. In a heartbeat, Noah's safe world burns down. This is not some tale. It is a raw wound of hate, a kid's life smashed by a bully who owned the school. Noah was the shy one in that dusty small town, skinny as a rail, always hunched over his notebook, sketching dreams in pencil. Art was his quiet corner. He carried a secret. He was gay, sorting it out through doodles of a boy he liked, a crush he guarded close. Chad ruled the roost, big, loud quarterback king. Kids trailed him like dogs. He caught Noah slipping one day, swiped a letter from his backpack. A note to Sam, a classmate, words Noah scribbled with a pounding heart. Chad stormed the cafeteria, climbed a table, read it loud, voice thundering, "Check this queer garbage. Everybody listen up." Kids jeered, chucked fries, milk cartons. Noah's cheeks flamed red. He ran, feet pounding tile, but Chad hunted him down, pinned him at the lockers, slammed him into the metal, growling, "You are a sick disease. We do not need your kind here." That night, Chad rallied his pack, waited after practice in the parking lot. They jumped Noah, fists swung fast. One smashed his jaw, another kicked his ribs till he gasped. Then Chad shoved him down the back stairs. Noah tumbled, his arm cracked loud, pain seared white hot. He curled tight, pleading, "Stop, please." "I will not tell," they cackled, walked off, left him sprawled, bleeding on the cold concrete steps. Noah hobbled home, arm dangling wrong, told his parents, expecting arms around him. Instead, Mom turned her face away, eyes wet. Dad barked loud, "Do not bring this shame on us. Keep your mouth shut." They did not call the principal, did not fight, just shut him out, locked the door on his sobs. School turned into a cage, whispers dogged him. Chad spread it wide. Noah's locker got tagged with slurs, queer, fag, trash stuffed inside. He stopped eating lunch, stopped raising his hand. Depression swallowed him whole. He dropped out at 16, fled that town, left behind a life that crushed him flat. Chad strutted free, king untouched. While Noah's arm healed bent, his soul broke deeper. He swore he would never forgive, never forget that monster. But this was not the finish. It was that ember of a fire he did not know he could spark. If this grabs your gut, hit that like, let me know you feel it. Share this with someone who's been beat down. Your share might pull them up. Subscribe to Heart Stories, tap the bell. We are jumping into Noah's next move. It is wilder than you think. Noah walked out of that small town with a busted arm hanging useless at his side, a backpack slung loose over one shoulder. He hitched a ride on an old truck that coughed smoke with every mile, ended up in a city where the skyline rose sharp, swallowed the stars he used to watch from his bedroom window back home. He was 16, alone. Everything he had ever known turned to ash after Chad smashed it apart with his fists and his hate. He found a room in a boarding house on a gritty street, cheap, damp, the walls so thin he could hear the neighbors shout, curse, slam their fists into doors all night long. He paid rent with cash scraped from washing dishes at a greasy diner a few blocks away. Hands cracked red from scalding water. Back ached from standing hours over a sink piled high with dirty plates. Every clink of silverware dragged him back to that cafeteria, Chad's voice booming loud. The laughs that cut him open like a rusty blade. School was a ghost he left behind in that town. His sketches stayed shoved deep in a drawer under a pile of worn-out shirts. He tried to draw once, pencil slipped from his fingers. All he saw was Chad's sneer twisting his face. Heard those words ringing sharp, queer, freak, disease. His arm throbbed when the rain came. A twisted scar from that stairwell fall. A mark that dug into his bones and would not fade. Nights stretched, long and heavy. He sat on a cot that sank low in the middle, stared at the cracked plaster ceiling, replayed every punch, every slur. They pounded in his skull like a drum he could not silence. His chest squeezed tight. Panic slipped in slow. He barely slept. Dark circles bloomed under his eyes, deep as the bruises Chad's fists carved into his skin years ago. He took any work he could snag, swept dusty floors at a warehouse until his throat burned from the grit floating thick in the air, stocked shelves at a corner store until his legs begged for a break. He ate next to nothing, lived on stale bread, watery soup from dented cans he bought cheap. The city was a cold sprawl. No one looked at him twice. He moved through crowds, a shadow with no name. No one stopped to ask who he was or where he came from. At 18, he stumbled on a free computer in the library, sat there with a busted earbud plugged into one ear, taught himself design from videos that lagged and buffered slow on the old screen. His hands shook as he clicked on a borrowed mouse, traced lines with a cursor. Art crept back, faint, fragile. A whisper of the kid he used to be before Chad broke him into pieces. He sold his first sketch online, a dark drawing of a shattered stairwell. Jagged edges cutting through the page. $20 hit his account. It felt like a rope tossed down a deep well. He kept going, posted more. Clients trickled in slow, small jobs at first. Logos for startups, posters for local bands. He worked through the night, fueled by bitter black coffee. Fear of crashing kept his eyes open wide. Then Chad's shadow crashed back hard. A client from his old town saw Noah's name on a design he did. Word spread fast. Chad, sloppy drunk at some dive bar, bragged loud how he ran that fag out of school with his own hands. Posted it online for kicks. Noah's email lit up quick. Hate poured in. Get lost queer. Die slow. Drop dead. His biggest client dropped him cold, saying, "We cannot work with your kind. It is bad for our image." Noah slammed his fist into a mug. It shattered across the floor in pieces. He screamed into a pillow. Tears soaked it through. He nearly quit. PTSD gripped him tight. Every tall guy on the street looked like Chad. He froze mid-step. Heart raced hard. Palms sweated. He locked his door, hid for days, shaking, sobbing, muttering, "Why does he still get to ruin me? Why can he reach me even here?" Life kicked him harder. At 20, his phone buzzed late one night. A cousin said mom died. Heart attack. Gone in her sleep. He called Dad, voice small, hoping for a shred of warmth, a crack of something human. Dad answered, voice rough as gravel. Said, "I hated the day you came into this world. You killed her with your disgrace." Hung up fast. Noah dropped the phone, sank to the floor. Tears burned his cheeks. He was an orphan now, not by fate, but by choice. The rejection sliced deeper than Chad's fists ever did. Sharper than that stairwell drop. He sat there, stared at his sketches, thought about burning them all in a pile, thought about ending it. The weight pressed him flat. He could not breathe, could not move. Just sat hollow, lost in the dark. But something broke free inside him. He stood, wiped his face with a sleeve, muttered low, "I will not let them win. Not Chad, not Dad, not this damn city that wants me gone." He grabbed his laptop, drew through the dark, a piece about pain, raw, jagged, defiant, posted it online. It sold fast, then another, then more. He clawed his way up, took every job, every gig, saved every dime he could, taught himself to eat again, sleep again, live again. By 25, he had a name, small and steady, but his own, a designer who turned hurt into lines, color, meaning. He built something real from the wreck Chad left behind. Chad faded into the past, a bad dream Noah thought he outran. He had no idea that shadow was creeping close, ready to knock loud on his door. This was not peace yet. It was survival, gritty, ugly, real. Noah stood taller, not whole but fighting, scraping, clawing for every inch he could claim. Noah stood at 30 with a life he had clawed out of the dirt. His small design company hummed in a brick building on the edge of the city. A team of 5 worked under his quiet lead, desks piled with sketches, screens glowing with bright colors. He built it all from those late nights hunched over a laptop, those jagged drawings of pain that sold when he had no one left to call his own. He specialized in projects for LGBTQ+ groups, posters for pride events that splashed rainbow flags across town, logos for safe spaces where kids like him could breathe. His name grew soft but steady. Clients called him the guy who got it, who turned hurt into something you could hold in your hands. He lived simple, a 1-bedroom apartment with peeling paint, a beat-up couch he found on the curb, a fridge stocked with leftovers from takeout boxes. Money went back into the work. Not into flash or show. He walked taller now, shoulders back, arms still crooked from that old break Chad gave him, but his eyes carried a fire that had not died. He thought Chad was gone for good. A bully buried deep in the past he outran. He was wrong. That ghost was about to walk right through his office door. Chad had been the king back then, quarterback star with a golden arm, broad shoulders that filled doorways, loud laugh that echoed down the school halls. Girls swooned at his every move. Guys copied his swagger. He ruled that high school with a smirk and a fist. But life hit him hard. A college game snapped his knee clean, ended his shot at the pros before it began. He spiraled fast, drank cheap beer in dive bars until the stools knew his shape, picked fights with guys bigger than him, lost job after job. His wife stuck around through the mess. 2 kids clung to her skirts. They lived in a trailer on the outskirts. Roof leaked when it rained. Bills stacked high on a wobbly table. He was 32, a shell of the guy he used to be. Swagger gone. Just a man with a limp, a temper, a life falling apart at the seams. One gray morning, Noah's office phone rang sharp. A gruff voice on the line asked for work. Any work, Noah said. Send a resume. It came through email. Chad Tanner. No skills listed, just a string of odd jobs. Bar bouncer for a few months. Warehouse grunt for less. Noah froze cold. That name slammed into him like a fist to the gut. Memories flooded back fast. The letter Chad tore up. The stairs he shoved him down. The blood on his hands. He checked the attached photo. Same Chad. Older now. Heavier around the middle, eyes dull and tired. He did not know Noah ran this place. Thought it was just some random gig to scrape by. Chad showed up for the interview 2 days later, strode in with a limp, stinking of stale smoke and yesterday's beer. He slouched in the chair across from Noah, grinned crooked, said, I used to run things, back in school. I kept the weirdos in line, even ran one out of town. He laughed low. Noah's gut twisted tight. He saw himself at 15, crumpled on the ground, broken, bleeding. Chad kept talking, clueless as ever. I need this job, man. Family's hungry. Wife's on my back. Noah clenched his jaw. Every word stoked that old rage. He wanted to scream in his face, throw him out on the street, watch him crawl away with nothing. But then Chad's phone buzzed. Wife called, voice shaky on speaker. Kids need shoes, Chad. Please do not mess this up. We cannot pay the heat this month. Noah's hand stopped, hovered over the desk. He saw her in his mind, tired, desperate. 2 little kids shivering in a cold trailer. His heart thudded loud. Hate Ward was something softer he did not expect. He sat there, staring at Chad, this wreck of a man who wrecked him all those years ago. He could fire him right then, ruin him, pay back for every bruise. Every night he cried alone in the dark. But then he thought of those kids, that wife begging through the phone. He remembered his own years, hungry, lost, sleeping on a cot with no heat. He took a slow breath, said, You start Monday, warehouse, low pay, keep your mouth shut. Chad nodded, smug, said, Thanks, man. You will not regret it. Got up, limped out. Noah stayed behind, head in his hands, shaking. Why did I do that, he asked himself. Anger burned hot, but a whisper grew louder. Not revenge, something else, something bigger. He hired Chad not to crush him, but to face him, to see if a bully could bend, if a monster could learn. This was not over. It was a door cracking open, a test he did not plan, a chance he did not see coming. Noah watched Chad limp into the warehouse that Monday morning. His old bully, now a grunt in a faded denim jacket, hauling heavy boxes under the flickering fluorescent lights. He put him there on purpose. Low pay, tough work, close enough to keep an eye on, far enough to catch a breath, he told his team. Keep him moving, no breaks unless he earns them. Chad grumbled loud, swore under his breath at the weight, but did the job. Noah stayed silent, waited. His gut churned every time Chad shuffled past. Memories crashed in, fists pounding his ribs, stairs rushing up, blood pooling on concrete. He clenched his fists tight, fought the urge to fire him right there, end it quick. Chad worked with a crew, half of them queer, artists Noah hired for their grit, their spark, their stories. Chad smirked at first, muttered slurs, fag, weirdo, loud enough to sting. Noah caught it one afternoon, called him into the cramped office, said, "Cut that out or you are gone tomorrow." Chad shrugged, scratched his neck, said, "Whatever, man, I need the cash, just chill." Noah nodded, sent him back, but shifted the plan, put him on a project, a pride campaign. Big bold posters for a youth center downtown. Chad had to stack them, move them, see the words every shift, safe space, love wins, hope lives. They stared him down day after day. Weeks passed, Chad softened, slow, clumsy. He asked a coworker, a guy named Eli with a buzz cut, "Why do you care about this stuff so much?" Eli leaned on a box, said, "I was like you once, hated myself, thought I was wrong. This saved me." Chad blinked, looked away, kept stacking. Noah saw it, a crack, small, real. He pushed harder, made Chad join a delivery run, dropped posters at a shelter on the west side. Kids ran up, hugged Eli, thanked him with big grins. Chad stood stiff, hands shoved in pockets. A girl, maybe 10, tugged his sleeve, said, "My brother's gay, he's safe now because of this." Chad's jaw tightened. He muttered, "Good for him, I guess." Walked off fast. Noah watched, heart pounding. This was not what he expected from that smug face. Months in, Noah called a meeting. Whole team packed the room, Chad too. He stood up front, voice steady, said, "I was bullied, beat up bad, thrown downstairs. Because I'm gay." Room went dead quiet. Chad shifted in his chair. Noah kept going. "The guy who did it sits here now." He looked at Chad, said, "It was you." Chad's face went red. He stood, fists balled, ready to bolt or swing. Noah held up a hand. "I hired you not to break you, but to show you hate's a chain. I broke mine, you can too." Chad froze, eyes wet. He sat, head dropped low. Team stared, silent. Noah said, "I forgive you, but you have to learn. Help us, not hurt us anymore." Chad broke, voice cracked, said, "I'm sorry, man. I was a jerk. I didn't know what I did." Tears fell. He wiped them fast with a sleeve. Noah nodded, said, "Prove it. Stay, change." Meeting ended. Team clapped. Slow, Chad stayed, head still low. Next day, he asked Eli, "How do I fix this?" Eli said, "Start small, listen, be here." Chad did. Hauled boxes, asked questions, learned names, stopped sneering, started nodding. A year later, Chad's wife came by, kids in tow. She hugged Noah tight, said he's different now. He talks to our boy, says it's okay to be him. "Thank you for this." Noah smiled, said, "This isn't about winning, it's healing." Chad overheard, looked at Noah, said, "I get it now, man." They shook hands, not friends, not yet, but something new. Noah felt it. A weight lifted, not gone, but lighter. This was the twist, no revenge, just a lesson carved from pain into something good, something lasting. Noah looked out at his company a year later. Desks buzzing, Chad now a steady hand in the warehouse. They were not just boss and worker anymore. They became partners, not in name, but in purpose. Noah pushed the business forward, designs for pride, for shelters, for kids who needed hope. Chad hauled boxes, fixed shelves, even pitched in on late nights. His limp slowed him, but his hands worked hard. He was not the king of the school now, just a guy finding his way back. His wife smiled more. Kids wore new shoes. They moved from the trailer to a small house. Chad talked to his son, said, "Be who you are. I got your back." Words he learned from Noah, from Eli, from a team that showed him what he never saw. The company grew, not big, but strong, took on more projects, spread a message: heal, don't hate. Noah found peace, not loud, but deep. Chad found a chance, not easy, but real. They shook hands one day. Chad said, "You didn't have to do this." Noah said, "Yeah, I did. For me, for you, for them." He nodded at the team, at the posters on the walls. Clients called them the odd pair, the artist and the ex-bully, building something good. Noah's sketches turned pain into power. Chad's work turned guilt into grit. They proved hate could shift, not fast, not perfect, but enough to matter. A legacy born from a stairwell fall, a letter torn, a life rebuilt. Noah sat alone some nights, traced that crooked arm, smiled faint. He did not win. He changed. Chad did too. That was the point. Forgiveness was not weakness, it was strength. A tool to fix what broke, to lift what fell. They showed it, lived it, left it for others to see. Chad's kids hugged Noah once, called him Uncle N. He laughed, said, "Just Noah, kid, it stuck." A small thing, a big thing. Proof hate lost, not loud but quiet, steady, true. This was their mark, a story of hurt turned whole, a lesson carved from scars. Love could outlast, outbuild, outshine, even the worst days, even the worst fights. Who's someone you'd forgive? Tell us below, we want your truth. If this hit you, smash that like, it keeps us alive. Share it with someone who needs this, your click could change them. Subscribe to Heart Stories, hit the bell, join us. We tell real stories, we need you here.